Hey guys, how are you? Welcome to the third episode of One Guy, One Beer. I am your host, Nick Ostick. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on this Sunday afternoon, kind of a dreary, rainy Sunday afternoon. So have to apologize, my laid-back look here, my sort of scrubby Sunday afternoon attire with the hooded sweatshirt and all. We like to keep it low-key here on Sunday afternoons in the Ostick house. So please bear with me, but I think you'll be able to deal. Really excited about today's show, guys. My sweatshirt probably gave it away, but we're going to be doing a beer by New Glarus Brewing Company. Hands down, one of my favorite breweries ever. Ever. So I'm really excited about today's show, and it should be a fun show too, kind of interesting. Doing a beer, we're going to do their new double IPA. So it's a style that New Glarus is not really sort of known for doing. Aldo, get down. So yeah, Aldo being mischievous. A style of beer, like I said, double IPA, that New Glarus is not really known for doing. And also a style of beer that I do not... Hey, Aldo, get down. Stop. And a style of beer that I don't necessarily gravitate toward, IPAs. I'm not a huge hophead, so it should be kind of, kind of interesting. High stakes. We like to keep it low-key on Sunday, but we like to turn up the heat. We like to raise the stakes a little bit here on One Guy, One Beer. So, yeah. Should be really interesting. Before we get started, though, real quick, want to give a shout-out. This beer was actually donated by my in-laws. So I want to give a big thank you to them. They clearly know the way to their son-in-law's heart, which is beer. Gotta love that. So thank you to them for making the show possible. Great. Very exciting. Before we get into the beer, just a little bit about New Glarus Brewing Company. They've been around since the early 90s. I want to say 92, maybe 93. They are located in the town of New Glarus, Wisconsin. In terms of availability, the sort of hinky thing about New Glarus, for those who don't know, is that they don't distribute outside Wisconsin. Okay, so if you live within the state, you can get their sort of standard lineup, their core 4 or 5 beers at any corner store. You walk in, you can get, they make a cream ale, which is Spotted Cow, which is probably the beer they're most known for. Right there, Spotted Cow. They make a really nice lager. They make a great pale ale. You can go in, like I said, to any corner store, get a 6-pack for $8-9. And they're all extremely well done, super well crafted, delicious beers. However, outside the state, obviously, you can't get it, and you have to do some wheeling and dealing and some trading, or, have in-laws who like to, ply you with beer. That always helps. Aldo? No, stop. Lost my train of thought. So yeah, they're located, like I said, in the town of New Glarus. If you're looking for sort of a beer road trip, or you're looking to add something to your beer bucket list, put a trip to New Glarus on that list. The town itself is sort of built in this old world European style, it's almost modeled after like a Swiss town or a German town a little bit. So everything looks like a chateau or a chalet, I guess. I'm not terribly up on architectural terms. But very cool town, very beautiful. And then the brewery itself sits atop this huge rolling hill overlooking the town. And the brewery itself is also built in sort of this old world European farmhouse style brewery. Beautiful beer garden, like I said, overlooks the town, overlooks these really lush rolling Wisconsin countryside and farmland. You can sit outside and just drink phenomenal beer all day. And it's really awesome. So the wife and I are lucky to get up there once or twice a year, and it's always a treat. So if you are able to, yeah, definitely put that on your list of breweries to check out. Really, really awesome. So we're going to get into this beer. Like I said, this is their Scream, their double IPA. New Glarus is also kind of cagey, I guess, about putting the vital stats on their beers. So the ABVs, the IBUs, that kind of stuff. So did a little bit of poking around online, a little research. Aldo, stop. This seems to be clocking in right around 9.5%, 9%. That's what I could sort of suss out, which is pretty on point for the style. In terms of ABUs, 85 IBUs. Okay, so that's a big beer. Between the 9.5% alcohol and the 85 IBUs, definitely a big beer. Still sort of on point for the style, for the double IPA. But yeah, it's not a small beer at all. Kind of a little terrified of the 85 IBUs. I mean, for me, not a hophead, that's enough to sort of bitter your face off. But like I said, New Glarus, at least the way I interpret New Glarus beers, super well balanced. They do such a phenomenal job of creating such harmony between malts and hops. So I'm confident that they're going to be able to have enough of a malt undercurrent to balance out that hop bitterness. So we'll see if I'm right. I hope I am. Again, high stakes here. So, crack the, get down. Sit, sit. Good dog. That was a good sit. It was a good sit. The wife, Kate, is off getting some work done today, so I'm in charge of, I'm dog sitting essentially. I'm in charge of the dog, and he's being a wee bit fussy, let's say. So, but anyway, opening this beer. All right, double IPA. Wow, cracked it off. Just got a ton of already, just a ton of like floral, tropical fruit notes. Just a whole bunch of citrus. Wow, this is going to be, I'm really excited about this, guys. Definitely, for sure. Aldo, get down. Get down. Get down. So, let's get this beer pour here. I got these new tasting glasses last week. They're adorable. So small, right? Little 6-ounce glasses. I feel like a giant. It's great. And a man, I seldom get to feel like a giant. A man of my, 5'5" stature. So, give this beer a pour. There we go. Give myself a nice, generous pour there. Let's taking a look at it. If you can see, really, really pretty. Great head retention. I mean, sort of a fluffy white head. Definitely maybe 2 fingers worth. Orange, sort of like a pale orange color. You can see it there. Really, really pretty beer. Yeah, yellow, pale orange. Sort of a, hold on one second. The dog is really being mischievous. I'm about ready. Okay, there we go. Had to get the spray bottle there to stop him from destroying something. But, like I said, really pretty beer. Pale orange, golden, off, sort of a golden, a little bit of almost like a sunrise or a sunset, but really pretty. Like I said, great head retention. A little bit of highlights too. Also, it's great, good carbonation. It's got bubbles floating right up to the top, so very well carbonated. Yeah, awesome. So let's get into the nose. Okay, yeah, I was right when I popped the cap off. It's got such a floral nose to it. Hibiscus, or rose maybe, but a ton of like those citrusy tropical fruits. So, papaya, mango, pineapple, some orange in there. Yeah, grapefruit for sure. There's some grapefruit in there. Like I said, not sure what hops they use in this beer, but definitely I'm picking up notes of Cascade, which can have that sort of really tropical, fruity note to it, that grapefruit note. Some Centennial hop too might be in there as well. Those two hops, Centennial, Cascade, give off that tropicality right, that you usually get in IPAs. Definitely some hop bitterness in here too. You get kind of that like onion grass, garlicky kind of note in there that you kind of get almost like a vegetal note that can sometimes come with certain hops. There's a minerality to it as well. There's definitely a little bit of earthiness. And you can smell the malt too. Like I was saying earlier, that malt note is pretty present. It's almost like a bready, biscuity. Kind of smells almost like an English muffin with like orange marmalade on it, right? Or some sort of like breakfast bread with a really, really intense citrus spread on it. Yeah, wow. And as it warms up a little bit too, that onion grass, that garlicky, that sort of like leafy green vegetable kind of thing is definitely getting a little more pronounced, especially as I agitate it. And I say, like I said, that's kind of a byproduct of certain hops. But like I said, really, really pleasant on the nose, a ton of tropicality. Don't really perceive any alcohol on the nose, which is encouraging. Yeah, but there's going to be definitely some bitterness there. So I'll go in for a sip. Okay, so hang on, it's still developing. Not sure when this beer was bottled. We might have a little bit of hop fading going on here because I'll say this, in the finish, I get all that tropicality, right? All those tropical fruits. Kind of, it's almost like one of those like dull, tropical fruit drinks. They just cram every sort of citric, tropical fruit they can into a juice, right? That's in the finish. Right up front, though, there is a pretty intense bitterness for sure from those hops. I mean, you're getting that 85 IBUs without a doubt. And right up front too, you really get that, like I said, that earthiness, that sort of vegetal, kind of dank a little bit. Though that type of note, those flavors come right up front. And you get the alcohol too. There's definitely, you can feel the 9% in this for sure. It almost has a warming effect as it goes down my esophagus. Not really dissimilar to a stout almost, the way it has that warming sensation. But yeah, we might have some hop fade here because those tropical notes and those fruity notes aren't as pronounced as they are in the nose. Like I said, I get it in the finish, but not up front. And IPAs obviously are best drank fresh. So if you let an IPA sit for a few months, the hops start to die off, the flavors can fade, and what you can be left with is kind of a malt bomb. I'm not getting a ton of malt here, but I'm wondering if, as the hops have started to fade and those tropical notes have started to fade, what's left is that sort of oniony, vegetal, garlicky kind of note. Not a bad beer at all. I mean, still really, really drinkable, but I would say this beer is probably, obviously, drink it as fresh as you can get it, and this is probably 8 weeks old at least. So just sort of a caveat with IPAs: drink them fresh. But yeah, as it warms up, the malt is super, super present. It's got a great mouthfeel. Like I said, great carbonation. It's really lively. It's pretty drinkable, pretty easy to knock back for sure. Hey, stop. Pretty easy to drink, pretty quaffable. But yeah, as it warms up and as I take more sips of it, that maltiness is starting to really become apparent. And I just think what's happened here is we've got an IPA that probably has sort of hit its peak and is definitely on the backside. But from what I can tell, what's there, those fruit notes, like I said, that tropicality, mango, papaya, orange, sort of the pith of the orange, right? That sort of really super aggressive citrus note, that sort of those floral notes. From those that are still there, it's a super tasty beer for sure. Yeah, awesome. Would I get it again? Yes, I would get it again, but again, I'd want to drink it as fresh as possible. I think this has sort of hit its peak, and it's on the backside. It's kind of going downhill, going south a little bit. But like I said, from what's there, I can kind of get an approximation of what it was like fresh, and I'm sure it's just it's a stunner of a beer fresh. So yes, definitely get it again. And again, no surprise, another really solid offering from New Glarus. So awesome. Great. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of One Guy, One Beer. We will see you guys soon. Thank you again for all the comments and the messages and everything on the Facebooks and the Twitters. Please feel free to drop us a note if you have any questions. I don't think I said that in the last episode. If you have any suggestions for beers, or you have a comment about the show or anything like that, please feel free to write in oneguyOnebeer@gmail.com. I love reading the emails, and I will get back to you, I promise. So I'm going to go tend to my dog now. And until next time, guys, go get this beer, and I'm going to keep drinking. Cheers.